If you want to empty your mind, make a quilt. Take the fabric, feel it, live with it. Or like my husband says, I don't get it. You cut it up and then you sew it back together again. But when I cut it up, I add something to it. It's just like a stew. Put it all together and it comes out just fine.
So a lot of times we don't get a chance to talk to the artist until after they usually have moved on. So what my research allowed me to do is actually understand what thoughts and what beliefs and craftsmanship went into making a quilt. And a lot of times people don't consider quilters, folk artists, as artists, but I learned they are artists. They are inspired by something bigger than themselves. They're like anthropologists, they go around and they collect things that people throw away and or discard, and they can transform them through a geometric pattern, a mathematical sequence that allows them to create something beautiful.
A friend had commissioned me to do a quilt for her sister who was retiring. When they presented the quilt, I said, oh God, I can leave now. And as I was leaving, someone grabbed my hand and said, do you want to join us? I goes, no, I don't think so. I'm not good enough for this. She goes, what? You don't know your worth. And that happened to be Michelle.
So the program started with sewing, evolved to include quilting because there was an expressed desire to learn how to quilt, and that started about the 1990-93 period, and evolved by 2007 as a named program, Jubilee Quilt Circle.
I stumble over my feet getting out the door on Thursdays to get here. Run red lights.
The power that they talk about, the quilt, and then when you actually understand what all the women do and all that wisdom that gets weaved into the cloth, and all of the laughs and the jokes and the tears and the celebration of life that magically gets put into each stitch and each pattern is phenomenal.
Take that fabric and let it talk to you. I'm one of the fortunate few that the fabric will talk to me. If I can't get it right, then it's telling me something's wrong. And I'll look at it, and then it goes together.
And how they artistically weave that into every stitch. I mean, even a drop of blood is typical, can go off into a quilt.
And there's my DNA in it too. It's from prickling myself, so a lot of my DNA is in that quilt. But it's been quite a journey, and I've loved every stitch.
We were just, in the olden days, they would just piece the fabric together for utility purposes, to keep warm. And then they graduated into art quilts.
So it's very important to us that we acknowledge the past while building toward the future, to help people understand how important culture is. Whatever they think is important is what will be carried to the future. And I want to thank the Museum of Fine Arts for including quilting in their collection. It makes an incredible difference in the minds of the general public. It makes quilts part of fine art, as it should be.